TYNEE TALKS. We gonna talk about it right here. Yeah. You ready? It's TYNEE Talks right here. We gon' talk about it right here. We gon' talk about everything you like. I'ma make it real clear. It's TYNEE Talks right here. We gon' talk about it right here. I'ma talk about everything you like. I'ma make it real clear, cause it's TYNEE Talks. And I'ma talk about it. Yeah, cause it's TYNEE Talks. And I'ma talk about it. Hey guys, welcome to season 6 of the TYNEE Talks podcast entitled The Wedding Season. It is going to be a series this season chronicling the journey that my fiance Terence and I are going on we're going to take you on a journey about our dating, our engagement, and ultimately our wedding that will be on May 15th, 2022. So, you ready, B?
I'm ready. I'm ready.
Okay, so I got to do first things first. Today's episode is brought to you by SOSBLING. SOSBLING is an independent consultant of paparazzi accessories. SOSBLING gives you amazing jewelry for $5. Yes, you heard it right, $5. Visit SOSBLING.com so you can be a showstopper at your next event. That's SOSBLING, SOSBLING.com. You can also follow SOSBLING at s.o.sbling on Instagram by independent consultant Brett Rogers, who is a TYNEE Talks talker of the year, decade, month, week. I completely bang with her. So y'all make sure y'all check that out and get you some glitzy, glammy $5 jewelry that is guaranteed to be a showstopper. So we just gonna hop right on into it. I wish I was like one of those, YouTubers that had all like the fancy, like like, yeah, we're going on to our next segment, you know what I mean? So, but I don't got all that, just like raw shit going on. So again, the talkers out there, if you're new to the TYNEE Talks podcast, you know that this is the podcast that entertains and educates. And it also is the podcast where you come to laugh and learn. So during this season and this episode, you're going to laugh and you're going to learn a little bit about myself. And you're going to learn a little bit about my fiancé because he liked it and he put a ring on it. So first things first, we'll talk about how we met each other. Many of you may have heard this if you follow me on Facebook, or if you're my friend, you may have heard a little bit about it, but you don't know the whole scope, the whole meat of the matter. So I'll let you start. Do you want me to start? You look very shy.
Yeah. I want
you
to
start.
Yeah.
He's been on the TYNEE Talks train so he knows how this works, but he want to act camera shy. But okay. So let me take y'all on a little journey. Terence and I met each other July 2017. So almost 5 years ago. And July 7th, Terence don't understand the significance of these dates. He be trying to minimize the significance of this date. But let me tell y'all how significant this date is. My daddy was born on July 7th. And his granny, his favorite granny, his tee-hee granny, y'all know nothing about that, but his favorite granny passed away on July 7th. And then we met each other. So I look at it as a beginning, an ending, and a new beginning. That's how I view July 7th.
Okay.
Did you not know that? I viewed it that way? Or you did, and you just still be trying to minimize it?
I didn't even know I was doing it. First I've heard that I minimize it.
You do.
All right. Okay, so we met on that date.
So we met on that date.
It was a significant day. Hold on, let me not minimize it. It was such a momentous day. So many things was important about that day. Yes. It's 2 years after my grandmother passed away. I rest her soul. Go ahead.
This is what I'm having to deal with. Okay, so any losers. So we met at this karaoke bar called The Hideaway in Dallas on Preston Road. So if you're ever in the DFW area, go check it out. It's pretty lit on a Friday. But this particular Friday, you know, if you know me, then you know that I love me some karaoke, child. So on this particular day, I was, you know, calling my friends to come hang out with me. I called my guy brother Dimple. Shout out to Dimples. I called Max, who claimed I didn't call her, but I called her. And a few of my friends. And usually they come and hang out, but for some strange reason, nobody was answering the call. So if you know me, I don't mind going anywhere solo dolo. So I put on a nice little tank top, my little pink tank top, had, you know, it was summertime, so you know the melanin was poppington. And as y'all can see now, I'm growing my real locks, but at the time I had some faux locks, so I thought it was cute. So, you know, I went and I sat at the bar, you know, and Friday night is a big karaoke night. So I was waiting to sing my song, but it was like a lot of people ahead of me. So in the meantime, in between time, I was sitting at the bar, you know, guys were flirting with me. This white man was buying me drinks, black dudes was buying me drinks. You know, what my mom say, I don't got no respect for persons. If you want to buy me a drizzank, I'm going to drink it, period. So I'm sitting at the bar, you know, cheer dancing. You know, when you're sitting at the bar, you got to cheer dance, like, you know what I mean? And obviously, he saw me. So, but that's not how it really went. So no. It didn't go like that. But I was sitting at the bar, you know, enjoying myself. Unbeknownst to me, I didn't even know him. I be using the N word, y'all. So, but I'm gonna try not. He's not one. I'm trying not to use it. But so I'm up there jamming and whatnot, and so these white girls, I didn't know he was standing beside me or near me, like in my proximity. So these women, I ain't have to specify what they was, but that's significant. They were some white girls.
It mattered.
It did really matter. They were. Y'all know the term white girl wasted. They were white girl wasted. Okay. So they decided like to be touching on me. Don't touch me. But they, you know, being extra. And he's near me. I don't know him at this time, but he's near me. So they're touching on me and then they're touching on him. And then they look at me while touching all on him. Like, is this your boyfriend?
Yeah, that's how it happened.
And I'm like,
white girl. First
of all, I'm thinking to myself, now, Rebecca.
If
this was my man, and you rubbing out on my man, then touching on him first, and then you're going to come to me and say, is this your boy? After you didn't grope my man? Girl, I would have punched you straight in the throat. But because I know him from a can of paint, I was just like, no. Yep. With the deep Black girl eye roll, okay? So Terence saw me about to really go in because they just wouldn't let in. And then I'll let you insert your little story. Well, then what happened to you?
You said my little story.
Do your version.
You want how I got there?
We'll get to that.
Okay, then. So my version coming to this very point is I see these young ladies.
Well, no. Oh. Let's talk about how you got there, because I talked about how I got there. So you talk about how you got there and then to this point. I'm sorry.
How far back?
Like the night of.
Okay, so the homeboy Bernard. Shout out to Bernard. The homeboy Bernard hits me up. We have very valid reasons why he hit me up, but he's like, bro, dog, you got to come with me. I want you to just come out with me. And let's hang. Let me get you a drink and let's go. So he had a couple of spots in line. And first we went to Kona Grill. Right. We went to Kona Grill in Plano because that's a popular watering hole for people like to go fish for that kind of.
They might not know what fish means.
Oh, I mean, fellas, ladies, they out there looking. It's a
when people trying to get chose.
They trying to get chose, and it's a lot of people out there, Black people on like a Friday afternoonish, coming in from workish time. Everybody out there kicking it, and so we go out there and we kick it. And then he was like, once this place ran its course, I know another spot.
but pause, he's trying to leave out the fact that he tried to holler at a chick at Kona Grill.
I didn't try. I successfully hollered at a chick. I just wanted to say it. So, you know, I mean, I did it. You know, yes, I tried. You know, I had already shot a shot, scored a basket at least there. I got me a number.
Okay.
Well, feeling myself, the alcohol and my inflated sense of self-esteem is rolling. So yes, I did get a phone number there, which is very funny because I ended up seeing that girl at the Hideaway.
And she could compete with all of it.
Later. I saw her later. Yeah, it was too late. By the time I seen her that time, she has already lost the race. Really, I lost the race. That's another story. So
Yikes, okay.
Anyway, so we have now decided to go to the Hideaway, and we are now at the Hideaway. And I'm telling you, y'all will not believe it. I believe it. As soon as we walk in the door, this is my first time ever being to this place, ever. Bernard stops, gives the Birdman hand rub, looks around the room. He said, check out Shorty right there. That's your demo. He's from Chicago. That's how he talks. He said, that's your demo. And then I looked, I saw them thighs, I saw that brown skin, and I tried to play it off like, yeah, bro. But that was it. I'm talking about as soon as we walk in the door, he pointed her out, like, that's your demo. Then we got to just circulating around, you know, around the club.
You know how dudes do.
We got to walk around and look and see where we want to post up and put that one leg up and hold that drink. So once we finally found us a post and view spot, he was just like, all right. So we got the drinking, and then that next round, I was like, I got you. Let me get the beer. So go get a beer. And that's when I walk up on Becky at the bar. TYNEE's at the bar just chilling. And yeah, I did notice it was the young lady that he had pointed out, but I did not go back to that spot because of her. I just went to go get a beer, and it was the nearest opening to the bar. So I'm now right beside her waiting to order a beer. And then I see this and the young lady, they all rubbing and touching and whatever. And I read the black meter on her face, and she was at
the black meter.
She was at red.
Okay, if the meter is dealing with black people, where was that at? Where was that at on the black people meter of festivity? You was right before the highest level of festivity.
Was
that at Samuel L. Jackson?
Yes, some cursing was about to happen. Yeah, you was at a Sam. You was definitely at a Sam. Some MFs was coming. And I saw it. And it's like, you know what? Let me
de-escalate.
Let me just step in because they kind of brought us together because they think we're together. And so I believe I stepped in and, and she's doing that. And then I said, chill, ma.
Like, chill, ma. Like that kind of like, okay. Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I was just like, and I think I said something to the effect of, if we really was together, this would just be fun.
Yeah, like he was like, if we were together, this is something that we'll laugh about later on. And I was like, side eye.
Not shooting my shot, just
like
trying to de-escalate
the situation
before they end up getting beat up. And then the club is ruined. So I saved the night for everyone because TYNEE was going to tear the club up. That's the other side of the story. TYNEE was going to tear the club up. And if I didn't step in, it was just going to be, look, if you buck. If you buck. So anyway. So when I ordered my beer, the white woman bumped me and beer spilled on TYNEE. It was like, stars is lining up. So I'm like, oh.
Is the stars lining up that a beverage was spilled on me when I thought, when you ladies, if you looking cute, it's someone spilled a drink on you, like.
Look at the end result of the beer.
Okay.
All right.
Okay,
Come
go
on.
ahead.
Come on now. That was a win. That was a win. You got to wait and be patient for your blessings to manifest. Ooh. All right. Anyway, so the beer spilled. I got a napkin. Probably wasn't appropriate, but she didn't stop. I was like, oh, dabbing at the thighs. Like, oh, I'm sorry. Oh.
There's a little touchy feely going on.
Only because
that's new to me.
The beer
I didn't even know. Okay.
spilled.
Right.
No, I didn't get Copperfield. I just know
you
that
just
in the end,
felt the
that's an invasion of your space to feel like I can just dab your thighs.
Right.
I know that now. I'm sorry.
I forgive you.
Okay.
All right. So I like when you share this part of the story. Oh no, I can say this part. So after that, he dabs me or whatever. Then now I'm noticing him, like the totality of him. And so he had on a FAMU shirt. And if y'all know me, I'm like literally the personification of 6 degrees of separation.
Yes. She has a full flow chart of all the connections she has to all humanity.
We'll get it to the
You're on her flow chart. You are.
You, somebody that's watching this.
The listener now. She knows.
So later on in the episode, y'all learn more about the flow chart that he calls it. But anywho, so he had on a FAMU shirt. For those who don't know, FAMU means Florida A&M University. It is a historically Black college and university in Tallahassee, Florida. So, of course, I know people that went there. I see the FAMU shirt says FAMU alumni. So I'm like, oh, you went to FAM. Do you know my friend Audrey? Like, that's immediately the first name that came to my head. And so, I must say that Terence is 10 years older than me, but he doesn't look it, especially back then, like 4 years ago. You even look younger than that. So I'm thinking he's like around my age range. So I'm like, do you know Audrey? He's like, what year did she come out? And I'm like, I don't know. I think I said 2005 or something. I think that's around the time. But he was like, oh, no, I went to FAM in 93. So I'm like, oh, okay. No, you probably wouldn't know her. And then I said, where are you from?
I thought you mentioned Jonathan at one point.
Oh, I said Jonathan too. Oh, yeah, because if he said he didn't know Audrey before he told me the 93 thing, then I said, well, do you know Jonathan Quarles? Because anybody who in the world knows Jonathan Quarles, okay? Google him, okay? Yeah. So I'm like, Jonathan Quarles? And he's like, I think he said yes, because everybody knows Jonathan Quarles. So he was like, yeah. And so then I was like, oh, okay, cool. I was like, where are you from? And then he was like, Flint. And there's a Flint, Texas, I want y'all to know. So I was like, Flint, like Flint, Michigan? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, you not from Flint. I was like, I'm from Flint. And he was like, what? And I'm like, I'm still skeptical. I'm like, you're not from Flint. If you're from Flint, what high school did you go to? Now, this is a Flint thing. It like when you meet a Flintstone, the first thing you be like, oh, you from Flint? What high school you went to? Like, that's what you say. So he went to.
Don't do that. I went to the only school in Flint that's still open.
Now he went to Hamady. So.
That's right. Michael H. Hamady High School. That's right.
If you're from Flint, the main schools are Central, Northwestern, Southwestern, and Northern. So I was like, okay, you went to him. So, I mean, he had to be from Flint if he said
your
Hamady.
Kids go to Hamady. Anyway. Okay.
It's the hate for me. Shout out to Flint Central High School. So like we're small talking, I'm in just disbelief that I randomly meet a dude from Flint, even though Flint is kind of heavily populated in the DFW. I just didn't expect him to be from Flint, which is funny because he said, you don't act like someone who's from Flint.
Okay. Sorry. Had a little bit of stereotype going on about what I expected from people who transplanted from Flint to Dallas and hadn't kind of got out to the other parts of, America. And you can kind of see there's a Flint edge to a Flint person.
Yeah.
And mine may have been rounded off and weathered down because I spent a lot of years in Florida and then a lot of years in Texas. So I kind of became a Southern fried Flint person, where I expected a little more.
But he expected a little bit of my more north side grit.
Okay, so a little
bit more grit.
The woman so when the women spilled the beer, the Flint response would have already been fighting. But TYNEE held on as if she'd been somewhere or maybe really wasn't from Flint. Because a Flint response to that event, we really don't finish our conversation.
Would have been torn
it was over.
Up.
It was like this, and it would have been. I could have done nothing about it. But because she was a little more reserved, And I hate to stereotype because I know that is not all women in Flint. Yes. I know that.
We know, babe, but if you're from Flint, you know.
Now you know. Right?
So he couldn't believe he was like he told me like even later on in dating, like, you don't act like you're from Flint. Maybe like he says is why I have lived multiple places. I've lived in Chicago. I've lived in DC for a spill, Ohio for a summer, New Orleans. So maybe because I kind of been around, but I mean,
it adds something to it. I have to say, it just
perhaps
does. It does.
He said it.
No disrespect.
Yeah, I get you. So anyway, so at this point we're chopping it up, and time is kind of going on, but I guess Bernard had a little situation. So I guess he tapped, touches Terence like, we got to go. And I'm like, oh, you gonna leave before you hear me sing? I want him to see me sing. So he was like, I didn't drive. Like, I rode with Bernard. So I was like, oh, okay. So he asked me for my number. I gave it to him. I won't get into that because I won't even say, but he takes my number and he puts it in his phone. And yeah. I ain't gonna even say that.
Don't do it.
Say it.
No.
Okay, I'm not gonna say it. I ain't gonna do it. Okay, so he puts my number in his phone. Anyway, he leaves or whatever. And so, I stay to the end till it lets out because, I'm going to do my song. Anybody that knows me, I'm doing my song. So I stay and I leave around 2 a.m. And he calls me. Did I call you or you called me? Because I know I was driving home. And I asked you why you were up. And you said, because I go to the gym at 5 in the morning. You remember that? Oh, yeah. So he called me like on my way home. Yeah, because I ended up leaving. And he was like, however, Bernard took him to his car. He was like, he lived on the farther part of the DFW, and we were more so in North Dallas. So he was like, yeah, I'm driving home. It's a bit of a ways, I'm up or whatever. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Oh, so the other significant thing about this whole situation is I had only been in the DFW area or Dallas for 2 years at this point, and I was over it, like ready to go, like, God, get me up out of here. I had been applying to jobs. I had so many interviews back at home at this point. I had an interview at Siena Heights University. I had an interview at U of M Flint, Davenport University. So when I met Terence that Sunday, I had an interview at Michigan State University. Like, I was about to check up the deuce. And so, anyway, we talked for a little bit, and then I think the next day we talked, and I told him that that I had an interview back home in Michigan at Michigan State. So I was like, I'm flying out on Sunday or whatever. And so I flew out, had my interview, came back that Monday, and on that Monday, as me flying home, I ended up having an allergic reaction on the plane. If you know me also, then I have bad allergies. I'm talking about bad, like metamorphosis bad, like near death bad, okay? So I have an allergic reaction on the plane, and at the time I was kind of talking to somebody else, but they did not answer their phone because I had caught the train to the airport. So I was catching the train back home. It was late at night. It was like midnight. It was really dark. And so I called the guy I was talking to. He didn't answer. So I ended up calling Terence. And I was like, hey, I just got back. First of all, I sent him a picture of me. I was like, I had an allergic reaction. I'm going to send you this picture. Why would I send him that picture? I looked crazy as hell. But I sent it to him. And I'm like, I'm having an allergic reaction. But he was kind. I find out later on, he's such a kind man. He was so kind to me. And I was like, well, I'm walking home and it's really dark. Can you talk to me on the phone until I get home? So then that was that. And then he asked me out on our first date. And so our first date, do you want to talk about that? Okay. Well, our first date, first of all, again, I was about to call myself moving back to Michigan. I was already dating somebody, like not exclusive, but dating. And also I didn't know this man like that. So he said he wanted to take me out on a date. He told me I could pick the place. I picked my favorite restaurant here, Free Man's Cafe. And I'm about to go get me a what? Free meal. I'm about to go get me a free meal. Okay. So I called my girl Tyra. Shout out to Tyra. Like, come over here and help me pick out an outfit to go on this date. So she picked out this orange body fitting dress. Like, bam. And I was smaller then too. So, you know, it was like, you know what that means. So with her, so I told Tyra before I left, I was like, now Tyra, call me in an hour, girl, and say something happened so I can leave.
Yeah, nothing happened.
Ooh, child. So I get there and I'm late. And Terence is sitting there in the middle, the center of the restaurant. Like, what were your thoughts that I walked sashayed? I sashayed in there all late. What were your thoughts, like, girl?
Yeah, she sashayed in there in that bright orange outfit, just glowing with that person in sunglasses. She was just glowing. I didn't know in her mind, she was just like, I just came to eat.
Did.
Yeah. But I won. I'm sorry.
Essentially. So we're at the restaurant and we're sitting and we're chatting. We're having a grand old time. We're talking and the hour comes. And so I excuse myself to the bathroom. I'm like, no, that's good. And I come back. And when I came back, it was a guy there playing a guitar and singing. He was like the entertainer for the restaurant. So I tapped Terence, like, give me 1 second. I go up to that guy, the performer, and I asked him, I said, do you know how to play Jewel? And he was like, no, how does it go? And I played it on my phone. He was like, give me a second, I'll learn. Like, he could play by ear. He was like, give me a second, I'll listen to it. And then I was like, because I want to sing. He was like, okay, Terence don't know none of this is going on. So I come back to the table and we're talking. And then maybe about 15 minutes later, the guy taps me on my shoulder and was like, I got it. You ready? Or whatever. So I go up to the stage. Terence will learn this about me, like
quickly. I learned really fast
that I'm a star. He learned that day.
Well, there's a mic.
Oh, there's a microphone here? Is this thing on? All right. So I get on stage and I'm like, this is dedicated to Terence because he didn't get to hear me sing at karaoke. I was determined to have him listen to me sing. So I sang You Were Meant for Me by Jewel. Now these are the words. I just met this man, but I'm singing, you were meant for me and I was meant for you. What? The irony, right? But I chose the song because it highlighted my voice in a very spectacular way. So in the midst of our conversation, and this is very important, and I think it's important to touch on it now, he ended up telling me that he wasn't Christian, and I am Christian to this day, was raised Christian and all that good stuff. And Terence was raised Christian, but he wanted to let it be known up front, you know, that I guess this was a source of, I don't want to say contention. Is that the right word?
Yeah, I mean, it was a concern.
It's a sensitive area for it. It was a very
definitely
area.
At that time, at that moment in time where I wanted it to be on the table because for me, it was going to be a non-negotiable. If it wasn't something you was going to be willing to accept, then let's not even take the act about it. It was like, but you know, it wasn't like I was thinking about, I'm going to marry this girl, so let me tell her now. I was just having an honest conversation about what type of person I was. So yeah, but it wasn't something I was willing to just hide and tuck away. Like, no one should know. But yeah.
Yeah, so. He really wanted me to know. And I don't know, for me, it wasn't a deal breaker, even though I'm Christian and the Christianity rules are like, it should be this way. I look at God bigger than the religion, so to speak. And I feel like, I'm like, he's God's child. And I explained that to him. I was like, God is love. Do you love God? He's like, yeah. well, then we're good to go. Like, you don't worship Satan, do you? Okay, you're not a Satan worshiper?
Not at all.
Okay, we can move forward. Okay, right.
Right.
So that was it for me. I was raised, the Christianity upbringing that I had was love. God is love. Love supersedes all. Even when Jesus came in the New Testament, he was like, forget all the commandments from the Old Testament. The New Testament is to love. So that's just where I was at with it. And so, but he thought that was, very important. Like I said, it was a source of contention for him, a source of sensitivity for him. And for me, it was just, again, I wasn't trying to marry this man. I just met him. So for me, it was like, okay, you have another religion? Well, that's fine. And so I really want you to touch on the fact, so let them know the religion that you practice.
I practice Ifa. I am a devotee of Ifa, which is a religion that was born out of the culture of the Yoruba people of Nigeria. It is an ancient religion from their culture. And I had been learning about this tradition since about 96.
I was in the 6th grade, for context.
Oh, she like, so yes, I'm 10 years older. And so that's always
that.
Point. But
he was on a journey when I
was on a journey. Yeah. When I left Flint, Michigan to go to college at FAMU, I was definitely on a journey. I knew leaving Flint, Michigan, that religiously I wanted to learn more, that I needed to learn more about how we can connect to the divine instead of the ways that was just told to me. I just felt like there was something else. I really did. And I was open. I was open to the world. You could have told me anything and I was going to listen because I was just really trying to figure it out. And that's where I was. And then in 96, I found something that kind of made sense to me and I kind of messed with it and tried to learn and just dibbled and dabbled and got more and more into it in the course of my life. And by the time I meet her, I am in my 40s and I'm serious about being, as people might say, right with God. I want to have a spiritual base that I feel confident in. I want to walk with the same pride as everybody else who feel confident in their spiritual base. And I felt like I've been on shaky ground for too long. And it was time to establish a foundation. So that's really where I was. And that's why it had to be known up front. Like, I'm not hiding it. I'm not hiding it. I practice something that some people out of ignorance would say, oh, it's like voodoo or something. And when I say voodoo, I don't even mean voodoo in a bad way. I just mean that we are scared of the traditions that our ancestors practiced because we've been told things here in these Americas.
So, and I wanted to touch on that because I wanted to kind of segue into our mentalities at the time of us, I guess, meeting each other. At the time of me meeting Terence, as far as dating was concerned, I had grown so much in how I perceived myself, the confidence that I had about myself, and also just the idea of dating multiple people. Like, there was a time where some might call a serial monogamous, like I'm only talking to somebody like if we're together. I didn't really, and I think that Black girls in general, Black guys and girls are not taught how to date. You can date multiple people at once, and that doesn't mean you're sleeping with everybody you date. But I was at that point in my life where I was understanding that I can date to understand what I like, who I like, what I won't, tolerate what I will, and being okay with saying, oh, you don't like me or I don't like you, bye. Right. On to the next, So that's where I kind of was at. And then I guess my prayer for a mate at that time was more so I want somebody that I can hang with, have fun with. I like to hike. Like I was once upon a time, I was on a dating site called POF. This is no plug to them. I call it the ghetto of dating sites. And so when they ask you like what your interests and hobbies were, I would always put hiking, and I never got the interest of guys that I like. I like Black men. Mm-hmm. And so I was getting like Middle Easterns, white people. And I remember my best friend at the time was like, well, what does your profile say? And I told her like, oh, it says hiking. And she was like, Now, ma'am, that's why. So I wanted to be able to be with somebody where I could enjoy the activities of life with and also bring my friends around. Like I always wanted to have a mate where it was like, he ain't on the side. It's like we're doing things together and enjoying each other and, building a family. And also I have a 7-year-old at the time. My son, y'all know Junior Healy from my son is like Macaulay Culkin mixed with Junior Healy mixed with what's that little genius boy on the cartoons? Dexter, the other boy, it's another boy genius, but that's all mixed in one. So I also needed a mate. Jimmy Neutron. Yeah. So I needed a mate that could be able to handle my son, except that we are a package deal, and also get through level 26 of my baby daddy.
You gotta fight him at the end.
You must fight him at the end.
It's like the final boss. Whatever video game when you get to the last level.
Whatever that is, where you gotta fight to the death. You had to be able to get through that to get to me.
Anyway, I'm sorry. It is funny.
I'm probably gonna get a phone call.
You're gonna get a phone call.
They're gonna cuss me the fuck out. But it's true. So that's where I was at with whatever. But also, like I said, the first date, I also was telling them like, oh, I might be moving back to Michigan. I just had the job. So you from Michigan, you gonna come visit me when I move, you know what I mean? And so where were you at with it as far as dating at the time that we met?
Where was I? Well, as the story goes, I was separated and divorcing. I was not divorced yet. On paper, it was over. And it was just over. And that's where I was with it. So I was kind of like, nothing really, this is just my first little into the world, and I'm not jumping into this to find a replacement. I'm just out here,
enjoying life
out here. And I was open and upfront about that too. I'm just out here just dating, and or not, and here it is. And so that's kind of where I was. So it wasn't like I was trying to, like I say, find a new wife or anything. It was just like, okay, let's see if people like me, or just get out there.
Worthy of being
You know how you come out of these situations. Maybe y'all don't know. You come out, you feel like maybe, I might be a little wounded, and it's just like maybe I might be not, just got to figure out who you are and what you are all about,
I get what you're saying. This wasn't me when I first met you, but when I got out of my longest relationship that I ever had, getting out into the dating world, I felt uncomfortable. I felt unworthy. Not at the time that I met him, but at the time where he's talking about when you're getting out of a relationship. I literally felt unworthy. Like, I'm not worthy. I'm a single mom. Who wants to, I was literally having these thoughts, like, who wants to date a single mother? And I didn't even have a slew of kids. I just have one child who's like 15 people in one, but I still I just felt unworthy. I used to feel like I'll never, even though I had the desire in my heart to get married, I felt like that would never happen for me. But it is a prayer that my mom prayed for both my sister and I, that we would have good husbands that loved us and took care of us. That was my mama's prayer. So I am happy to say, Beverly girl, I'm living out your prayers. Shout out to you. So that's where I was at with it. But I segue into that to say where we were with things and talking about religion, because when we walked out of our date, well, first let me tell y'all how I ended the date. Now, mind you, I told you I was going to stay there for 1 hour to get my free meal, but we stayed for 4 hours.
Great conversation.
Enjoyed it.
You talking about turned on by a conversation. Not just me turned on, I was just genuinely loved talking to this woman. It was so refreshing to just have a conversation. That was it. To just talk whatever we want to talk about and just get to know each other and just be ourselves. And for me, it was like, this is Terence. and this is who I am, and whatever. You like it, love it, whatever. This, and it was so refreshing. I love it. That's how, and it just passed on. It passed on because it was fluid, you know, it was a fluid and just great thing.
Yes, the conversation was very fluid. It was, y'all know me, TYNEE Talks. I like to talk, so we can keep it going. But to his point, it was enjoyable to have someone that I can talk to on an intellectual level, a kick it level, and not them thinking I think I'm better than them or think I'm using big words or, you know, like I've dated those situations where it's like, oh, you think you this? And if y'all know me, y'all know I don't brag about my education. Yes, I'm an educated woman, but it's not something that I kind of lead with. But it was very comfortable in that sit. And he was like my equal in that moment. And I'm a sapiosexual. For those who don't know, it's like I'm attracted to intelligence. He was very intelligent, like the professor, Malcolm X. So he was smart. I love a smart man because if you not smart, I kind of let you know that I just hate to say it, but you know, any losers. So I ended the day because I was like, oh, I gotta go. I gotta get my eyebrows arched. Like literally like that. Terence said I'm very abrupt.
When it's over, you're on the phone with her, you'll be telling her this heart-wrenching story, and then she's like, okay, well, the cookies are done. Bye.
I'm working on it. I'm a work in progress. I'm a work in progress. So I was like, I gotta go get my eyebrows done. And the place about to close if I don't get there. So he was like, okay. So as we're walking out, we see now mind you, he told me about his religion, Ifa, but I had never heard of this a day in my life. I've heard of Islam, Hindu, Judaism, everything, but I hadn't heard of this. And when we walk out, there's a brother just sitting out on the patio, and he noticed that I had a bracelet on. It's called an Ide, and it shows that I have my hand of Ifa, that that I have a shrine of Ifa in my home. And so we wear that bracelet, and he sees it immediately. He's like, "Yo," and I was like,
"You're a child." He's like, "You're a child of Arugula," and I'm like, "Why, yes, I am." I mean, he noticed it. And I understand if you're a practitioner and you see someone with it, you're going to immediately like, boom. But it was just so funny that we had this conversation. I don't know where she's going to take this. It's something uncomfortable. And let me tell you, it's uncomfortable for me because I know I'm Black. I'm raised around Christians.
Boy, you're supposed to love Jesus. And He still do. He loved Jesus. He just practiced.
See, this is why. Because see how she just kept me? That's what Black people gonna end up doing anyway. It's like Jesus, but it's the Africa version of me. It's still gonna be Jesus. Because I love Black people. Because in the end, they just want us to be right. They want us to know. Black people want us to know that we are still connected to the divine. And whatever, we gonna stay connected. Ain't nobody gonna break our spirit. So I did understand this could be a judgmental kind of situation because of everything. It's gonna be like. See, I got a director. Anyway, so it is what it is. So it was, to me, it was like divine that I just told her about this thing that I'm sensitive about because I don't want her to look at me as like, oh, he doing something crazy. Therefore, I can't talk to him. And then as soon as we walk out, a guy just says, hey, and he brings it all up. And I'm like, this is meant, wow.
Yeah.
Like, and she's like, oh.
Yeah, because I'm like, what? You know what I mean? Like, okay. So yeah, that was interesting. So as my luck would have it, on my way, as I abruptly ended our great 4-hour dates, my air conditioner stops working in my car on my way to Richardson. So if you're in the DFW, you know, we were in Deep Ellum and I was on my way to Richardson. I was going north. And my air, it's July, y'all, in Texas, my air goes out. But for some reason, I called Terence. Why do I call this man that I just met?
What he's supposed to do?
He did it though. So I called him and I was like, my air went out my car. And he was like, well, I gotta go do something and then I'll come and check it out for you. And that, well, I didn't know at the time, but I have learned over time that that's the type of man that he is, that he's a problem solver. You know, he wants you to be okay. He wants you to be fine. And you can come to him with stuff. I didn't know. Well, I learned that day. So I go home, and at the apartment that I stayed in at the time, it was you go under the garage. There was you call it garage, right? You go
the parking deck is under the apartment.
Yeah, the parking deck is under the apartments, and then you have to go up to get to it. So he's like, I have to go do something, and then I can come and help see about it in about an hour or two. So then I'm thinking, well, dang, I don't want to get this man my address, but I'm like, well, he won't be able to know where my apartment is because I live in the parking, like the parking deck. He won't know which apartment I live in. And I didn't really want him to know because although I had been dating, I had kind of left the situation where the person was kind of creepy. I don't want to say that, but it was just, I don't know. They live near me. And so I just, it was just kind of weird. But anyway, I had let him come over and he brought the stuff to fix my car. He bought like air conditioning stuff.
That's a refrigerator. Yeah, bro.
Yeah, air conditioning stuff. He brought the stuff like he bought it like brand new, came downstairs to the parking deck and like fixed it. It was like, turn your car on, like make sure it's working, like the air is blowing out. And like he fixed it, y'all. I just met him and he went to go fix it.
Listen, this when I got the phone call about her AC, I was about to turn into my driveway. As soon as I got the call, I just kept straight and put it on the corner and went straight to the store to find, the tools
to help me.
The air conditioning stuff.
The air conditioning stuff. You're so sweet. See, he didn't even have to do that. So now he's done fixing it, and now I'm feeling awkward. In my head, I'm like, he did come way over here. Did you invite him upstairs? And then I'm like, oh, he's a stranger. Well, he did come fix your air conditioner. So I'm having this whole conversation in my head. So I said, you want to come upstairs and have some water? And he's like, yeah, sure. So he comes upstairs. And at the time, when you first walk in, my dining room set was like right there. So I was like, okay, you can have a seat right here. You don't need to go no further. Mm-hmm. So he sits and also I'm like, dang, my son was gone for the summer. He leaves every summer. So he was gone. It was just me. And so I'm thinking to myself, I don't know him, but he's nice. He fixed I don't think he a killer, but I sit right here. And so then I was like, oh, you want to play a game?
Hold on, because you don't recall what you were also doing when you had me come up. You was like, but first, I have to be on this radio show. Oh, yeah. I'm like, you about to be on a radio show. I forgot. So I had to sit there and wait for her to just be like a segment on an internet radio show with her friends.
Oh, it was a regular. It was on real.
It was regular. Okay, my bad. But no, not to diminish the show. But yeah, she was like, wait a second, like, give me my water and be like, now let me do my thing.
So at the time, shout out to Mickey Wallace. Right. That's my boy for life. Mickey was the on-air personality for FM radio in Muskegon, Michigan. And so him and I came up through the trenches together. We was on record labels and all that good stuff. And so he was like, whenever he gets an opportunity or platform, he'll always plug me. So I was still TYNEE Talks blogger at the time, but still doing stuff here and there. And he created a segment for me called the TYNEE Talks segment where he would bring me on and I would talk to, whatever with the audience of Muskegon at the time. So yes, I forgot all about that. So I was like, yeah, sit over there while I go do this. And it was probably like 20 minutes.
She sings, she's a professor, and she does a radio show. Like, who have I met?
Oh yeah, I was a professor at the time. Yeah, I was teaching at Richland College in Els.
Yep.
Wow.
Yes.
I don't even be thinking about myself.
You were all these things to me. I'm like,
and a mom.
Yep.
So yeah, I was doing that. So anyway, I hang up from that job and come at the dining room table. I'm like, oh, you want to play dominoes?
Yeah, dominoes. Yeah.
So we play dominoes.
See your face. Okay.
And it got real.
You see her face?
What did you think, Terence, when we played dominoes?
Wow. It won't be Ifa that makes her not really talk to me. It'll be if I win a hand of dominoes because she mean mugged me. She mean mugged me because she won like 2 hands in a row and she was so happy about it. And I finally slid in a minor victory. And it looked like she wanted to throw me out. Like,
I don't like to lose.
I found out how competitive she was. Like, for real, I was threatened by the look she gave me. Like, I don't even know. There's that Flint.
She knew I was from Flint then.
That's what I was looking for. She mad. What if we put money on the game? She might fight.
Shoot you. That, who knows?
That's where we were with it.
That's where we were. So that was how we met each other.
Mm-hmm. That was a very great date. Yeah.
It was
Free Man Cafe.
At the Free Man's Cafe. Wow. Here we are. So, as you know, as you get into the series of the wedding season, we're going to tell you more interesting stories, possibly give advice or things that we've learned along the way. We ain't no relationship gurus or nothing like that, but we good for each other.
We good for each other. We are.
Yeah. We got agreement.
We got, hey, that's how we know we good for each other. We got agreement.
We got agreement.
Shout out to Zora Neale Hurston. Y'all should go
and
read Barracoon. Go ahead and read the book Barracoon, and y'all will know what we mean when we say we got agreement.
And so again, I want to say that today's episode was brought to you by SOSBLING. SOSBLING is an independent consultant of paparazzi accessories. SOSBLING gives you amazing jewelry for $5. And visit SOSBLING.com so you can be a showstopper at your next event with independent consultant Brett Rogers. Follow her at s.o.sbling on Instagram. Don't forget to subscribe, click the notification bell, and holla at your girl. Visit Linktr.ee/TYNEE TALKS or www.tyneetalks.com. But Linktr is your best bet so you can get merchandise like Don't Be a Headline Hoe or TYNEE Talks. Any closing remarks, anybody?
Oh man, thank you for letting me into your world, talkers. It'll be an enjoyable ride this season. She's getting married. She's gonna let me show up.
So that's my hashtag. Well, our hashtag. Hashtag Tanea's getting married. Terence is invited. You already know. Oh, in true TYNEE Talk fashion, who you want to give a shout out to?
Man, shout out to The Hideaway. Shout out to Free Man Cafe. Shout out to the Bakies. And shout out to Bernard.
Shout out to Bernard.
Right. Shout out to Bernard. What up?
What up, though? My shout out, I want to give a shout out to everybody who didn't answer my phone that night.
Yeah.
Because I probably would have been doing other stuff had y'all been there.
Yeah, good job.
Shout out to Bernard, who is like our collective friend. I got to know Bernard through Terence now, so shout out to him. He's an author. Check out his books. Google him, Bernard Creamer, just like it sounds.
Weaponization of hip hop. Yeah.
Yeah. No, there's no fancy spellings. Shout out to Tyra for picking out my banging orange dress to go on our first date. That really solidified it. He really trying to say that it was me being intellectual, but it was the dress.
It was
a little bit of A, a little bit of B. And shout out to my mama for her prayers. And shout out to you for being a great, I can't say spouse because we ain't married, a great partner. Okay, guys. Toodles.
Double.